So back on the BSA, I thought I'd just give the swing arm a grease. Things I did it once when I first recommissioned the bike a year ago, and just seemed like a good thing to do. But having put my grease gun on it, which has got this self-locking tip, it seemed to be squirting out the side. So I then tried to take this out to see whether it's blocked, make sure the little ball and spring is working properly, and this virtually fell out for a start, which obviously shouldn't be the case. So I just thought I'd see whether this is indeed clear and not damaged in a way. You know, if this area where the grease gun seals onto the nipple, that's damaged, it would leak. But maybe the grease squirting out was coming through the threads and it wasn't properly put in. Anyway, just give it a quick look. Right, so here's the nipple. And it looks fine in terms of this circumference being sound and unlikely to leak. It's got no sort of nicks in it. So that's fine. And it's highly unlikely that it's blocked, but yeah, a little fibre gasket, or washer rather. I'll just blow some grease through it just to confirm it's clear, but I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. I think actually this grease gun needs refilling, but let's give it a go. Oop, there you go. Oop. Yeah, well, that's fine. So yes, that's obviously not the problem, which is good. But maybe it was just that the nipple was coming loose in the seat. It was pumping grease through the threads and out the side of the nipple. Right, well, let's clean everything up and refill the grease gun. See if I've got another washer. It's very thick, that washer, a bit unnecessarily so, I'd say. There's not a lot of threads that it was hanging on by. Probably only one thread virtually. So it's debatable whether it needs a fibre washer at all. I'll check the parts book, see whether it claims there should be one there. If not, I'll just Loctite this in with as many threads as I can. I'll certainly seal it against grease. Right, so looking at the book, there's the grease nipple, and it does indeed have a washer. Number 20, fibre washer dash grease nipple. And it says two of them, which seems even more bizarre. Anyway, there should be a fibre washer, but I don't really think it's necessary. I'm sure, so in this day and age, with some modern Loctite sealing the threads, it would be fine. And this washer is definitely too thick. I mean, it's so thick that there's threads there, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 threads, and that covers at least 2 of them, maybe slightly more. So yeah, that's just too thick. But I do have a collection of miscellaneous ones. That one looks about right. Yeah, that's just right. That's a lot thinner, so that's leaving at least 1, 2, 3 threads. So yeah, I'll put that on. Loctite it in anyway, and that should be fine. So now Nipples back in. It's Loctited in place, and it's got the new fibre washer. I've just been starting to pump grease in, waiting for it to appear at the bearings, and lo and behold, there's another hole in the swing arm down here. You can see that, but down this end there is a hole that's become apparent, and if I pump grease into the nipple, it starts to appear out this end. So maybe there should be 2 grease nipples, which might explain why they think there should be 2 washers on the parts list. Unless that's just a hole to relieve the pressure. Yeah, I think that hole is threaded, so it does look as if there should be 2 grease nipples. Let's just check the parts manual again, because obviously that one is completely missing. If indeed it should be there. Okay, so where are we? 20, 19 and 20, 19, whoops. 19 is 2 off and the fibre washer is 2 off. So sure enough, it does look as if there should be 2 grease nipples on the swing arm, even though only one is shown clearly. I guess the other one you assume it's screwed in and underneath. Right, so I need another grease nipple. I don't think I've got any lying around. I'll check, and if not, I'll have to get one. So having realised that there are indeed supposed to be 2 grease nipples on the swing arm, I managed to get hold of a spare. If I can get into the bag. So allegedly these are the original, or at least equivalent to the original part numbers. So there's the nipple, which looks fine, and the washer, but again the washer is huge. I mean, really thick and considerably bigger than the nipple. It scarcely closes off the hexagon. And it doesn't close off the hexagon. You can see fresh air along. You can see it along the flats from this washer. So that just seems weird to me. I'll see if I've got a smaller one. So as it turns out, I don't have a. Well, I've got one fibre washer, which is a better size. Still relatively loose, but it's only the inner diameter is smaller than the crossed flats distance on this nipple, unlike this one, which is the one that came with it. And that's just crazy. So the internal diameter there is greater than the distance across those hexagon flats. So that's not going to seal anything. Crazy. So this one is a better fit. Whoops. In terms of sealing it. I've also got some copper ones. And that's not brilliant. And this copper one, that's actually the best of all. It's a bit dirty, could do with a bit of a clean, and maybe an anneal. But yeah, that looks bang on. Very slight amount of play across the threads, but yeah, I think I'll use that. I'll clean it up, anneal it, and use that. So this one just definitely doesn't look right at all to me, even though it is the same as the one on the other side. Right. Right, this washer just needs to come up to cherry red for a second or two. I'll do. Yeah, this certainly fits this new nipple, but it's actually a different diameter. I've realised the AF size, this new one is 5/16, and the old one, which I assume is original to this bike at least, is 3/8 across the flats. So I don't know whether they changed them during the life of these bikes, but it's only a different hex size. Actually, this hex size is even smaller than 5/16. I have to use a smaller spanner, which is actually 9/32. Yeah, so 9/32 AF socket on that. tightens it up, but it's distinctly smaller outside diameter than the original. Anyway, the standard grease gun does fit the new nipple and obviously the old one, and grease is coming out into the needle bearings rather than squirting out through the hole where the missing grease nipple was. So all good. I think I'm back on track again. Yeah, so in summary, there are two grease, or there should be two grease nipples, one either side of the swing arm. I guess one for each bearing in effect. I had one completely missing, and the other one was about to drop out. Also, the fibre washers that seem to be the correct part number seem to be too big to me. They're too thick, and they stop the threads biting as deeply as they should, and they're actually a larger diameter than they should be. So grease could actually leak past the washer and up past the flats on the grease nipple. So that seems rather strange. Anyway, I'm all back together now with two grease nipples, one smaller than the other, but in terms of the cross flat size, but the correct size in the threads into the swing arm, and they both fit the grease gun. So that's good. I'm all greased up again with fresh grease extruding out through the outer ends of the swing arm. So it's flushed through the bearings and cleared the old grease out. Right. Thanks for watching.